Hello and welcome to the latest edition of TechVets. My name is Kerry Holzman.
And I'm Mike Smith.
There he is right there. Let's see if I can get us both on the screen. Where's the button? Wrong place, Kerry. Hey, now we're here. This is show number 161, and we've been trying to get together, and we've been so busy. The bad news is we've missed out on being able to do shows. The good news is we have a lot to talk about. First, our shout to Instant House Call.
Yes. TechVets is brought to you by Instant House Call, robust remote support for IT pros and MSPs, providing unattended and on-demand remote access. Try it free by going to instanthouseCall.com and remember to use the promo code TechVets for your free 15-day trial.
And also, we have our Amazon link. We always want to remind you that anytime you make a purchase from Amazon of anything, if you use our link that takes you to Amazon, which is available in the show notes and the video notes for every episode we do, Mike and I make a small commission that we split to help pay for and support both TechVets, Mike Tech Show, and my YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you any more or any less. It's just a way of showing support. And we appreciate when folks think of us and do that. It's a great way to get the things you need anyway for the same prices you're going to pay anyway. And then, like I say, we take a small cut. Now, we have a lot to talk about today. So are we ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Because you and I have been extremely busy. So
it has been gangbusters over here, and not just with my work, but also with just projects around the house. And of course, we're into the heat of summer here in Arizona. It came early and broke records right out of the gate. And I can't wait to get back to Michigan. I am more motivated now than ever before. I was just talking with the guy in Michigan. He said it was 75 degrees yesterday or Monday. I was like, I got to get out of here. So I'm motivated. Now,
you don't get the storms like we do, though.
Michigan,
the tropical storms coming up the coast, and that's and our temps been varied. It's like I might have a good day and then real hot. That I do get breaks, but I'll tell you, it's been rainy and kind of miserable with some of the storms.
Yeah, well, we're in a drought, and we're in monsoon season. And we're finally getting some rain. It came down pretty good. In the desert here, when it rains, it's typically not a drizzle. It's typically trees fall over into the roads. You see the traffic lights just swinging, looking like they're going to break free. And it'll go on for quite a few hours. And then the streets are flooded. There's all kinds of obstacles in the roads. It's very dangerous. Best to stay at home. And then you enjoy it because you're going to probably have many weeks of no more precipitation. So it is what it is. You live in a desert, we expect. Right?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know where you want to start today. I mean, you've got some stories. I've got some stories.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of projects, and literally 3 of them that were huge on Friday. And we'll start out with the first one. You're going to like this. So a small medical office where they moved locations, but their IT support abandoned them for the move. And they hooked up everything. They had Comcast come out. The internet was working good, but they didn't have their remote access. And their remote access is through special medical software. So certain specific ports have to be opened and go to their workstation server. So there was a bunch of little things to clean up, but they had no passwords to some of the devices. I literally had to replace 2 devices with a new firewall router, put that in place, programmed it. That was just Friday morning. And then Friday afternoon, a project that's driving me crazy, trying to get VoIP for another doctor's office, a dental office, to get through the Untangle firewall. That's just been a mess, and it looks like it's a hardware problem on the Untangle. And then I had an email migration project. So in one night, my son and I started at 7:30 in the morning, and I worked till midnight. working on the mail migration. So that was because it's funny when you could not make Wednesday, Carrie said, "Hey, I'm good Friday or Saturday," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's the worst Friday and Saturday you could have recommended." And even Saturday, there's still things for the email migration, working with the different clients to get their cell phones working. Because I was working again, replacing another IT company. I'm seeing IT companies abandoning clients, or the support is so bad that someone who knows me, including listeners, have been stepping up and saying, "You know what? Get a hold of Mike Smith at MHS Consulting. I listen to him on the Mike Tech Show." And that's been great. And I'm glad to step in and help anybody, as long as I can. If it's over my head, I'll tell them if I can't do it. But I mean, we're just talking, workstation support. So not that difficult. So what's been keeping you busy?
Well, I've got to tell you, it's interesting you'd bring that up because I recently had a very similar discussion with a customer that doesn't know their passwords for anything. And I said to him, one of the things that I do is make sure that the business owner has a copy of any login passwords, whether it's their Wi-Fi password, server passwords, managed switch passwords, login information. And a lot of times not a lot of times, but it's not unusual for them to push it back at me and say, "I don't know what to do with this." And I tell them, you don't have to know what to do with this. If I get hit by a bus tomorrow, or you decide you don't like me anymore, for some reason, you need somebody else to come in here to reverse it, to go backwards and reset everything and start over again, is going to be very expensive for you. And it's going to take much, much longer to get done whatever task you need done. So all you need to know, and by the way, you should demand this of anybody you hire, is if those passwords are ever changed or altered in any way, or any new hardware is added and reconfigured and configured and set up, that you must demand that you have the login information current at all times. Just have them printed out on a piece of paper or whatever you want to do. Just store it away somewhere. You don't have to know what any of it means. You don't have to verify it, assuming you're trusting your person you've hired. Mm-hmm. And that when that person is replaced for any reason, you can hand that to the new person and that person will interpret it.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I put a very detailed Word document, and everybody's going to say, "Well, you emailed it." Yes, but I password protected it. And I password protected it with a passcode that the main doctor and I agreed on. And that's the person's, personal Windows login password, and I made sure that this way nobody could get it. And in there is everything they would need, even things they wouldn't think about, but someone else might want: their static IP address for their router. I mean, what the static IP address of the printer, the static IP address of the peer server, all of the Wi-Fi, every device.
That's a good idea too. Or print servers are another one.
Yep. It was
IP addresses of the printers. I even store the printer drivers in a folder on the server with my name called Carrie, and I have all of my CPU Z, Crystal Disk Info, any tools I might use, and I don't update them. But what I do is when I need them, I store them there.
Right.
When I need them again, I re-download, delete the old, CPU Z folder, replace it with the new one, and then I can use it around all the computers on the network.
That's exactly what we do.
And then any sort of login passwords I store on my own computer.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody broke into my computer, they wouldn't know. There's no identifiable information as to which client that belongs to.
Yep.
My own sort of coding. And then that way I don't have to remember all this stuff. And, this new Synology update you talked about, Synology doesn't like you using the admin name anymore.
I know.
And just keep harassing me, change it. But I don't have any ports open on it. It's completely closed off. And they don't consider that. They don't care. I know people that have 14-character passwords no one would ever guess anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't seem to, I don't know if there's a way to just say, leave me alone. I want the admin password, because if I change it, I have to then record that change and report it to it's a hassle.
Yes, it is. So I keep my own admin name instead of admin. So this way, any brute force attacks, they will, admin is not even a guest, it's disabled. So my administrator account and the owner of the company or whoever's in charge knows what that account is and what the password is. So you got to make sure that that's part of my doc. By the way, doubling back, that main doctor on Saturday, because she got that email Friday night, she emailed me. She says, "This is so wonderful, Mike. I can't wait to continue using you guys for support." It's like, I finally have a support team that I'm happy with, And by the way, we didn't even meet. Her husband let us in, because the office was closed Friday. And that was just tremendous. And that was a referral from someone who used to be in my BNI chapter years and years ago. And it's interesting that you still have that long tail, that of people that remember you when this was a friend and she was describing the pain and suffering of their IT. And he's like, I got a guy, And as someone in the chat said, word of mouth, there's nothing better than that. That is the best form of advertising. And you want everybody to speak of you just like that. I got a guy. It's Carrie. I got a guy. It's Mike, who can get you out of this jam or take care of things. And that's what happened to a listener. And I can say where now, because I promised I'm not going to give the company name, but a listener in Ohio they had problems with their email. They had problems with their all kinds of stuff. He takes care of something else. He used to be IT. He's not IT anymore, but he has this big client and he says, I got someone that can take care of this. And that's what we did. And they are so happy. I moved their mail, migrated them to SureWeb on Friday night, and looking good, except another. Go ahead.
You did all this work from Philadelphia?
Yes, from right outside Philadelphia, all remote. So
that you've never met, you've never walked in the building?
Never walked in the building, never met him, but made a contact. You're gonna love this. The night maintenance guy. So the person who's a listener, who's the feet on the street, and if anything needs to be done, he could help. But it's a nice little drive away, and I'm working on this late Friday night. So he puts me in contact. I have the cell phone number of the evening maintenance guy who's great. And he says, if I got disconnected or if a system didn't come back and I couldn't connect, for some reason I rebooted, he's the man. So I made sure him and I connected, and he knew where all the systems are and who they are and could reboot a system or do whatever I needed. Now, I didn't need it, which was great. But I did do one thing for him. He's like, I have an iPhone. He says, you're all done. And he says, can you help me set up? I was like, yeah. So he's now getting his email on his iPhone. So that was, you got to have certainly to do anything remote, you got to have a human somewheres to interface that just in case, but they don't have to be IT, And
you're using,
I'm using Synchro. I'm using Synchro RMM and Instant House Call.
Oh, okay. So RMM, that's your remote management.
That's right. That's right. So what we did actually 2 months ago was brought them onboarded them as a client. And that's the first thing we do. We have the RMM agent and the Instant House Call agent on every system. And so you're looking at 10 systems. And so it's not, tremendously big, but I was able to pull off, remoting in, and my son and I did the same thing. Here's the challenge we ran into. And this is going to lead to something you're going to talk about, which is the multiple versions of Office was a nightmare because they're all like not illegal, but they're not registered. There's all kinds of, activate me. And it's a hodgepodge. Every version you could imagine, just all over the place. And that's something that we absolutely, in a couple weeks, I got to make sure that they all get Office 2019 Professional Plus, and I'm going to uninstall all of them. The main server, we're going to download the image, which I'll let you talk about, and then I will be able to do the install and bring them all together to at least the same business Office platform, because that was a nightmare. And here's a tip for everybody. I could not activate Outlook with SureWeb because of one problem. Well, actually, two systems had multiple Office versions. So Outlook gets very confused. So the only way to get around this and cross your fingers is uninstall the oldest version. So you go into programs and features, or you go into the Windows 10 apps, remove that. Then take the new version and do a repair. You can't just leave it alone. I did that, and then here's another tip. Open up, just in case, open up a admin command prompt. Now we're going to get real geeky, and run ipconfig/flush DNS. So now you don't have to reboot. So you flush the DNS, you get rid of the old version of Office, you repair the new one, and guess what? I connect it instantly with Outlook when I set it up. So that was a little bit of work,
Well, it's unfortunate that a leading software company such as Microsoft doesn't warn a user or ask a user, if you're installing Office and you have an older copy of Office, what you want to do. You want to keep both? Do you want to remove one? Like even Samsung Magician, some little free piece of software,
will ask you. Yes.
It takes care of it. VLC takes care of it.
Do you know
Java, you remember you'd have like 25 installs of Java because it never uninstalled itself and replaced itself. And Microsoft's Office is not much better. And in the chat room, they're mentioning using Office 365, and you never have to worry about that again.
No, but wait. No, this was multiple flavors of Office 365. Oh, no.
Oh, now wait a minute. I thought, and I guess we're in the chat room also thinks like me, that once you install Office 365, all those updates come through automatically.
Yeah, they do, but that's not the problem. It's how did they install Office 365? Did they get rid of the initial offending Office? You must get rid of all existing Offices before you install the Office 365 apps. So that's one of the things that you got to make sure. That's the only real constant and answer. If you used to have Office 2007 and you installed Office 2010, when you had Office 2003 and you were installing Office 2007, that actually asked you if you wanted to uninstall the old version. They got rid of that. And I'm like, and I see this a lot because people are confused and they don't know what to do, or they improperly install Office 365. You get rid of everything, you install it fresh, and that's it. So, but
is there a version of Office 365 like Nick Poverman in the chat is saying there's no installation?
Yeah, there is, but let me tell you something. Go ask a secretary which word she wants, or any kind of a paralegal. The word that is online only, or the word desktop. I know. I had an office that tried that, and there were this was like a year or so more pre-pandemic, and the office, they got together and they were going to band and quit, all the secretaries and everybody, because they wanted their desktop apps back. And so this is, yes, Nick, you are 100% correct. If the user will live with online Office only, And
What happens
then
if the internet goes down?
that's right. If the internet goes down, you're dead. You're not doing anything. You can't use Word, Excel, your Outlook. Forget it. You're down. So that's something. So I've had that discussion with with my clients, and I would say, no, I was going to say 100% of my clients want the Office desktop apps. Yeah. So we've talked about that because it can save a lot of money. When you don't need the desktop apps, it's cheaper.
There's a great tip is before you're installing a copy of Office for your clients, before you install, through that in the apps in the control panel, and if there is an Office, remove it. Now, Windows 10, when you install it, it comes with a sales pitch for Office.
Get rid of it.
It stays in there even after
I know. It comes back.
And it can be confusing if you need to do a repair of Office. Which one is it? Which of these offices? So just remove it.
Right. Remove it, but that comes back.
Proactively, doesn't need it. Customer wants to download Office. They can.
As a matter of fact, any new system I get, you know how you got that trial? You got to uninstall it. If they have a legal Office 365 license or 2019 or whatever it is, any system, whether it's refurb, new, when it comes with that trial of Office, you got to remove it. You can't just activate that.
It won't. That won't work.
That won't work. So remove all that, then install it. It's only a few minutes to install. So
no big deal.
But sometimes it's hard to rip it out. Like Dell, for example, on an Optiplex, they have 4 language versions of Office that is defaulted, and that's 4 uninstalls that you got to sit through.
And that's consuming your precious hard drive real estate, solid state real estate.
Exactly. So
it's very disrespectful and discourteous, in my opinion, unless they gave you the computer for free.
Yep. So Marvin B., a little shout out, has a PowerShell script that removes all of the offices, and I have to test it first. He sent me that. And so I just can't just put that out there on a client. So I'm thinking of having, I'm going to take one of my test systems and really kill it. I'm going to put an Office 2010 that I have. Then I'm going to over-install on one of my Office 365 licenses and really mess it up and then test his PowerShell script, and see how it goes.
How that works for you.
Yeah. So I'll let you know. And trust me, if it works and he allows me to post it, I will, so.
I'd be very interested in following up with you on that because I think that's a tool I would be able to utilize as well. However, how does it know which versions are the old versions?
No, it's rip it out. It's rip it all. It's anything it's Office.
What are we using right now on the PC? It's just 2016 and 2019 and 365. Anything else is not supported?
No. Well, no. You shouldn't, but I have clients that still have Office 2010 that they have not upgraded, and it still works.
It's not supported anymore, right?
It's not supported, and there's no updates, but it works. And that's the thing. It works, so they're like, well, I don't need to, I don't need to upgrade.
All right. I guess what I'm asking is, how many versions of Office are current right now? I think 3.
13 might be. So I don't know. Is 13 out of end of life? I don't know. I know 16's good, 19's good, Office 365. So and 16 and 19 are very much, What someone just asked, Jason asked, what about LibreOffice? I have too many businesses that I would love to support. I love open source programs, and I wish I could offer Libre, but that's not an option for my business clients. Now, maybe a home user, yes.
But just real quick, Office 2010 SP2 extended support ended October 13, 2020.
Right.
Office 2013 extended support ends April 11th, 2023.
Oh, so
Office 2016 until October 14th, 2025.
Right. So 13 is still supported. I have a few clients, but probably less. I would say now it's really, I'll tell you, I would say I have half 2010 and half Office 365. So a lot of people have been, definitely upgrading. And I still got those 10s that until I have something affordable to offer them, then I can't pull that trigger with them because I can't get them to bite on doing an upgrade. So
Well, we have those. I have that deal
yes,
with CDK deals, and it's all legal, it's all legit, it's all guaranteed, and it's about $50, I'd say, a little less than $50 for Office 2019 Professional Plus for one license. You can activate it on one machine. I've had to reinstall a machine, and when I went to put Office back on it, I used the same product key that I just had used on that machine earlier. I was like, what's it going to do? Because it only installs on one. Activated, no problem. But the minute you try and use that same product key on different hardware, nope, ain't going to happen. So,
and that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's working exactly the way it's supposed to work. But people who try to get away with something or are worried about a reinstall, it will reinstall on the exact same hardware with no problem with the same product key. So I've seen people where they take the product key and then they go use it on a second computer, and then you have to call Microsoft, and usually you can go through like phone activation.
Right.
It'll ask how many copies of this software you've installed, and you tell them one, and they give you that activation code, and you think you're getting away with something because you got it installed and activated on two machines until you have to reinstall on machine one again, and then it says, no, it's no good anymore. So it's whatever the last machine was you installed it on. And eventually they just will say, yeah, we're not going to activate this for you anymore. Your activity is suspicious. So that's all the same. But with the CDK deals, I have a special link. And if people use it, I make a commission. So it's all legit. It's real. I've done the research. I've seen other people promoting these keys. I've been very, very harsh on people selling these keys because everybody's just saying, take my word for it. Nobody's providing any evidence, and nobody that I have seen is saying, I personally guarantee it. I personally guarantee that you will get a legitimate product key that functions and activates as it should and will remain activated. Once it activates, you're good.
Right.
And if it doesn't, the customer service to this company will either fix the problem or refund your money. And if they don't, then you tell me. And as long as you use my link, I'll find your email address in the purchasers, and I will personally either give you a product key or a refund. And I've never had to do that because if this company upsets my viewers and it makes me look bad, I'm not going to endorse them anymore, and they're going to lose thousands of dollars. I've never seen another YouTube content creator do anything other than say, buy it or don't buy it. I don't care. I'm not committing one way or the other. I'm not telling you have to buy it. It's not my responsibility if you get burned. I hate when content creators do that because if you truly believe in something, put your money where your mouth is. And this is such a sensitive topic. And I myself have been very, very skeptical of this. And everybody that I've been skeptical of, none of them have provided me any evidence. Right. So then they think I'm a hypocrite because I'm doing it. But I'm the one who did all the research. I'm the one who found the seller that I know takes care of their customers. And I'm the one that's also going to put my money up, if necessary, for any of my viewers, so that they have peace of mind that there's no risk and there's no issue legality wise. So I've done
that's great.
That.
So I'm going to use your code to do it on 2 of my test systems that need Office, and then I can go through the process, see what it's like, get the purchase and everything. And that's what I recommend anybody who's a reseller. Click. We're gonna use Carrie's link. We're gonna make sure they're in the chat, and do that on your own system or your test system. Make sure you're cool with it, and then start using them. And I'm gonna do it client by client. So if I get past my testing, then, which I'm sure I will, then I'm gonna hit the clients with Office 2010. Now this is the cool thing. So now, since I have that Synchro agent on all systems, I can say, program very simply, give me a list of everybody, every client, every desktop with Office 2010, group them by client, and then go to the decision maker and say, you got 10 systems with Office 2010. I can offer you a lifetime Office 2019 Professional Pro license for X dollars. Mark it up enough that you feel comfortable, but still cheaper than what they would pay out there. And I know I'm going to convert them. It's just that's going to be simple because it's all about the money at that point. And I want every one of my clients to be on the same Office. It just makes support so much easier.
So much easier. And I'll tell you something else I like about it is once you have so I'm putting 2019 in for my clients right now. So they're either running there might be a few running 2013, but mostly it's 2016 and 2019 on the new machines that they've purchased. And a lot of people, Microsoft would have you believe that you have to sign into, you have to create, if you don't have a Microsoft account, in order to download the image of the installation file for Office. Now, they don't do this. Microsoft does not do this for Windows or any other that I'm aware of other than Office 365 for obvious reasons.
Right.
But this is an offline install. And I had a big argument with the folks at Microsoft because before they would even answer my support question, they wanted my Microsoft account information. And I said, I don't have a Microsoft account. And they said, well, when you get one, call us back.
Right.
And I said, I've been calling you guys for these issues in the past, and you've never required that before. He said, well, it's changed. Call us when you get it back. I said, I think I'm going to call back and talk to somebody helpful. And then I hung up on him, and then I just fixed it myself without logging in. So what you can do is there's a free application. I've demonstrated it numerous times on my YouTube channel, but HEI Doc. It's been around for years. And you can download Windows images and Office images for numerous versions in numerous languages, 32-bit or 64-bit, even ones Microsoft no longer offers. And I believe it's tying into the TechNet service in some way. So they are the official source of the files. Microsoft is still the official source. This isn't somebody who's, this is the reason why HEI Doc hasn't been shut down by Microsoft is that HEI Doc is not providing the files.
Right.
That's the difference of it, right?
They're just making it easy for you to grab it. Exactly.
And they're right on the edge of what would be Microsoft's policies.
Right.
And in any event, they've been around for years and they're legit. And it's free. And I download that 2019 image and I put it on the NAS.
Right.
Then I log into each computer in the office and boom, just start the setup right from the NAS. And while it's installing, go to the next one, start installing. And I can do that remotely. I don't even have to get out of my chair. And all 10 computers can be updating to this from the same Office installation image. And what's cool is when you double click on that image, it loads it as a virtual CD drive automatically built into Windows 10. You run the setup, and setup doesn't even ask you any questions. Office 2019 Pro Plus just installs. It installs rather quickly. Well, I am doing it on mostly newer computers, but it seems to me like it installs faster than other versions of Office.
You know why? Because it's all there. It's not pulling it from the cloud. Like even Office 365, you got to wait. The setup file's very small. Even if you logged in and put the key in and got the download from Microsoft, you got to wait. And it's got to pull everything down. Where here, you're starting with the full image.
You've got the image. You've got the all the setup files locally.
Yes.
And of course, it's going to make a big difference. And
it does.
When you're done, what I recommend you do is after you've closed the installation, go to your Windows File Explorer, and you're going to see you have a new drive you didn't have before that simulates being an optical drive. Use your right mouse button, this button, and choose eject.
Eject, exactly.
That removes, the drive disappears. And it's example, because you won't be able to delete the installation image or move it because it'll be in use while it's a drive. So when you eject it, now it's a loose file that you can move or delete it, whatever you want to do. Then the next thing I recommend you do is you start the program up. Start Word, start Excel, start something. It'll come up. You got to agree to the end user license agreement, and it's going to ask you for your product key. That's when you put your product key in. If you hit cancel on that, you can open and close it so many times, and it won't let you open it anymore until you activate it. But in the meantime, this is where you put your product key in. And whenever you're buying product keys these days, my advice is don't hoard them. Do not hoard product keys that you're going to use it someday in the future, because the thieves currently are extraordinarily aggressive, and there's a good chance they will use your key that you have not yet used. I'd give it somewhere between 4 to 8 weeks, but it's hard to say. So if you're not planning to, if you're buying Windows because you might need it some point in the future, and that'd be like going to the store and buying bananas and letting them sit on the counter for 2 months before you eat them.
Right.
They're going to go bad.
Yep.
If you eat them, they never go bad. You understand what I'm saying? 'Cause there was a Monty Python joke where the guy says, "Do you know it takes your body 4 hours to digest anything you eat? Therefore, nothing you ever eat is truly fresh." Stupid. But if you buy a TV at Best Buy, you don't want to buy it, stick it in the garage, go on vacation for 6 weeks, come back, take it out of the box, see the screen is cracked, and then think you're going to get good customer service because they're going to say you had 30 days on the receipt. And you say, yeah, but I take it out of the box yesterday. It's not my problem. So product keys are no different than that. You're going to get really good customer service if you have a problem with the product key within the first couple of weeks.
Yep.
After you waited a couple of weeks, customer service is suspicious of what you are doing.
Yes.
So, then it gets to be a little bit of a fight, because that's what that's the behavior of a scam artist. And everybody's so worried about getting ripped off from a consumer point of view. You've got to remember, merchants are getting ripped off by consumers all the time. And this is the world we now live in. So hoarding these product keys is the worst thing you can possibly do, in my opinion. Yep. Buy it when you need it, but if you don't use it for a couple of weeks, you're okay. But if you don't use it for a couple of months and then you have a problem, customer service probably isn't going to be very helpful. So that's why I've made sure that I am providing these discounted codes for a minimum of 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything continues to go well, everybody's happy with their purchases, company's happy, the viewers are happy, then I will extend it indefinitely. But for right now, it's a 12-month run. And if I find out this company is not honoring, either making the product work if it doesn't, or giving a refund, then if that continues to happen, I will no longer endorse them. So just so we're square on this is not a risk if you're a viewer. It's a great way to save money. And then I'll be interested in your experience, Mike, when you get around to trying it out.
A question in the chat, and I think it would work. Fernando asked, hey, will the key work on a virtual machine? I don't see why not, because a virtual machine looks and feels like hardware. So I would think it would absolutely work, because here's why I know that. I've installed Office 365 on a virtual machine. So I know that works. So I don't see why this wouldn't work. And that the only difficulty there would be getting the disk image within the virtual machine. Now, what you could do, depending on which virtual machine it is and what the host is, an example, VMware. If you're running VMware and you're sharing your drives, and you could open it up and mount it on the host system, and if you have that activated, VMware should read it. If not, you may have to download that image into the virtual machine in case you have it totally locked and it's not sharing resources with the host. So now we're getting into some virtual, everybody thinks it should work. So I lived in 2008. Now I know that's been a long time, but I was in the thick of virtual machines in the corporate world, where I was the network manager for the largest propane company in the country. I took a data center of over 250 servers and brought them down to 8 blade servers running virtual machines, virtual servers. So that was unbelievable. Yes, VirtualBox is free, and it lets you mount an ISO. Okay, thanks, Bill. So, have you ever worked with virtual at all, Carrie?
I've worked with virtual machines. I've certainly done my share of software testing in virtual machines, mostly in
Yes.
Windows XP.
Yep.
In fact,
Well, Sandbox is a virtual machine, technically. The Microsoft Sandbox.
well, I was basically using it as a sandbox anyway.
Right.
And I was experimenting with things, and I was using it as a. In fact, there was, especially during some Acronis testing I was doing, I was really messing up images and recreating these virtual machines. And I said, why don't I just copy the virtual machine file? And
That's
then I just kept replacing it every time I screwed it up. But then I stopped doing that. It's very time consuming.
Yes.
Spend hours and hours and hours to just be able to answer one question like, could I do this?
Right.
And the setup to get it all ready for the test, and then the test, if the test fails, then you want to try it a different way. That means reset it back and start over again. I just don't have the patience for that anymore.
Yep.
Now, with regards to virtual machines today, I don't really have any call for it, nor do my customers have.
Nor do I. That's just the two things that I wish I could play with is Linux. None of my business clients want Linux, even though we have it. Technically, I think Linux